Let's stay in West Africa. Ghanaian independent power producer Sunon Asogli has said it has delayed for a week a threatened shutdown of its 560 megawatts gas-fired power plant after reaching an interim payment agreement for $60 million of its debt with the Ghanaian government. The company, which owns around 10% of the West African nation's installed generating capacity, said on Monday it had suspended operations indefinitely, citing unpaid government debt and what it called unproductive engagements to find a solution. In a letter dated December 4, Sunon Asogli's chairman, Qun Yang, said the shutdown would be delayed for a week following assurances from Ghana's ministers of finance and state that overdue invoices would be paid. The state-run electricity company of Ghana did not immediately respond to a request for comment. To discuss this, we're joined by Patrick Baah Abankwa. He is a financial analyst and investment advisor. He joins us from Accra, Ghana. Patrick, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me on your show.
Right. I don't know if Dumso is still on in Ghana, but the struggles of that country, you're laughing, well, the power problems are well documented. And Nigerians, believe that Ghana has had electricity for a long time, so it might come as a shock to some that Ghana is facing power problems. Now, what factors led to the situation where this company, Sunon Asogli, a significant independent power producer in Ghana, felt compelled to threaten to shut down its power plant due to government debt? It's quite a, unheard of in such a country, like Ghana.
I think, as rightly said by Asogli themselves, the factors that have caused them to issue this kind of communication has to do with two main issues. The first one has to do with government's inability to pay the debt that is owed Asogli. So over a period of almost like 18 months or so, and even beyond, government is not able to pay its debt that is owed to Asogli, and there has been enough negotiation and discussion between the two parties, which has not yielded anything. So this part, which is government's inability to pay the debt that it owes Asogli. The second part, which is more important to the company, has to do with the arrangement with government of Ghana. They're expecting that government will come clear on what exactly they want to do in terms of the payment plan, because we all know that when government owes, government will eventually pay. But if there's no payment plan that enlightens or draws up exactly what they intend to do by way of when are we making this payment, when are we going to make the next payment, then it brings a bit where Asogli has now come out to draw up conditions as to if government does not meet its plans or meet it halfway in the agreement, then they are going to draw up their services. And that is going to lead to what you said earlier on, which Ghanaians don't want to go into again, which is a season of doom, so where there was erratic nature of our power supply in the country.
However, for those who are wondering what doomsday means, it means on, or off and on in the local Akan language, what we call NEPA off light here in Nigeria. But how does a delay in payment, government payment, and the unresolved debt issues between this company, Asogli, and the Ghanaian government, how will it impact the stability and reliability of the country's power supply, considering this company's substantial share in Ghana's installed generating capacity?
Yes, if government is not able to draw up an agreement with Asogli, we are talking about our 500 megawatts of power supply from Asogli. And if you take out that nature, that quantum of power supply from our national grid, that's going to lead to a very difficult situation for the country, especially the electricity company of Ghana, which is the supplier that delivers the power to the various homes, are saying they are relying so much on Asogli's power supply, which is the 500 megawatts I mentioned. So that's going to lessen the supply that they are going to give to people like individuals, companies who need this power supply to be able to do the work that they do or be able to sustain themselves at home. So that's the first thing it's going to lead to. The second aspect is that if Asogli goes off grid, it means that the supply that we are going to enjoy as a country will go down. A government may have to now go and look for other suppliers to be able to balance off the shortfall. Okay. And if these suppliers are quoting higher rates than what Asogli is giving, then you should expect that there's going to be increased cost of energy in the country, because there's going to be a mix of new suppliers coming on board with the local suppliers, which at the moment, government has been able to agree on a sustainable plan with Asogli. So if a new supplier is coming on board with a higher rate, then it means that we are going to see increased cost of power in the country. And that's going to be another burden upon the country, looking at what the country has gone through from the beginning of the year up to now. So these are the major challenges that if government does not handle this particular challenge, we are going to see ourselves in a very serious trouble.
Patrick Baba, I want you to answer in a sentence. What happened to Akosombo Dam? Because this was the country's mainstay as far as supply is concerned. Very briefly, please, very briefly.
Akosombo is still up there in terms of the supply that it gives to the country, but it is not as effective as it used to be. So that's why government has been able to move from the hydro, which is the Akosombo, to other thermal like Asogli and other places that we have. But of course, if they go down, then Akosombo will not be able to do or have necessity of power to be able to supply the whole country. So that's why we need thermals like the Asogli, the car power and coal, which are supplementing the power that Akosombo has lost over the period.
Patrick Bab, Abankwa, thank you very much for your time. It's been a pleasure having you join us from Accra, Ghana. I hope the doomsday will come to an end sooner than later. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Tizay.